Can you see all right?
Yeah, I'd be good with my glasses, but...
You know, the day before yesterday when it was -10, I put my hand into a box of nails, broke my hand out, and I had 6 or 7 nails stuck to my skin.
Welded together.
Yeah, my hand was like a magnet. Oh, and I couldn't even flick them off. Horrible.
Stuck to the skin.
Stuck to the skin.
So with light, we're actually using the light we've got to actually both provide the technical in terms of just getting the exposure, at the same time actually using it to be evocative in terms of how we tell the story.
Yeah.
They have no power there, no electric lights. So the oil lantern as well, on his face, did you notice just slightly behind his head? So you see the breath. That then leads into the story about the nail sticking to his hand. Perfect, tells the story. And when you then pull Kevin away, and we've let Kevin actually out away from Richard in the background, Richard is actually still working, but Kevin's in the foreground. I've got the director with one of those oil lanterns just holding that off camera. Big sense of camera, C300, big sense of camera, very good in low light. Yeah, lantern just off, hardly any light at all, but it does it. It's swaying around in the wind, getting light and shade. And also in the background, did you actually see that the sky is just a little bit of blue in the sky? Remember what I said earlier, this mixing of colour temperatures really works well.
Yeah.
Warmth, embracing, he's interested, they live in this little micro bubble. Out in the forest, blue. Life's tough out there. I said to the director, let's go through it now before it gets too dark. So what I didn't want was it all to be so dark that it wouldn't work. So a little bit of light in the sky, and that's where it just worked. Yeah.
What settings did you have the camera?
4,500.
Oh, right, fine.
Richard's children are his life.
This basically exemplifies everything we're speaking about. Dynamic range. It's just like, it's not so good on this screen, this is an old computer, but on a normal HD screen, you would be seeing detail out through the window, yeah? Seeing detail in this side of Claire's face as well, seeing detail over here. And where I've lit it is, there's not enough light coming through the window, so I've got a light panel just coming through the window to actually give me a little bit of contrast on the side of her face. With her, I've got another light panel just behind the camera, bounced off the ceiling, because what I found is that contrast range was just a bit too great. So there's another light panel, dimmed down, just bouncing off to give me that contrast. And again, we're trying to say no power. So the last thing I want in the story is lots of light bouncing around everywhere.
Of course.
If I just play it on quickly, I think he gives us a reverse.
His heart. You know, he can't always get...
So I spun the camera around and looked back. Again, you've got the window there, you've got the depth. But you can see on the C300 how the background's gone completely out of focus. And in the foreground, the light is just catching Kevin on the right hand side, but also just catching his eye on the left. And that's the dynamic range in action. It's a little not flatly lit.
Filming on that would be an absolute...
Well, it's interesting because what I then had an issue, well, not in this scene, but in that scene a couple of minutes ago where they were inside, the director wanted to cross shoot. And I was filming that scene on a prime lens on the C300, and he wanted to come in with a 30-inch sensor on the XF305 compared with a Super 35, and it didn't work.
No.
And I then had to light it up with light panels, which completely destroyed the whole effect I was trying to get, because I was, as you saw, I was all lit by candles and stuff. And that's where working, people often say to me, using 2 cameras together, that's where you can become a cropper.
Yeah.
Because you then lose the whole impact of shooting something with that lens, with a candle, sorry, that camera on a prime lens with the candles, because you can't be absolutely right.
Yeah.
No.
Communicating with the world beyond their isolated home is hard. In darkness, Richard takes me 30 minutes through the forest to a car he leaves abandoned for much of the winter. Who are you calling?
Let's see if I can get hold of my son.
And this is the only place you can get a signal, a Wi-Fi signal.
Look how I've lit it. It's lit by the headlights of the Skidoo, and just see how it plays out. It's quite a highly charged scene. And when Kevin, he comes out of the car and walks towards us, lit with a very, very low powered light panel.
Wow, I mean, half an hour down the hill to a freezing car in a remote car park, middle of nowhere, just to be able to speak to your children. There is no such place as paradise, is there? There can never be.
So you're going to have scenes when you just got to go with what you've got. You cannot start messing around with a scene like that. It's just got to. So it's got to become, again, instinctive in terms of what we mentioned at the beginning. Just use your own intuition. Do you see what I did with the camera? Apart from the over the shoulder, which I had to do because I wanted to see the iPhone, the iPad, I kept everything out. So give them a little bit of space. Give them a little bit of privacy. We're sort of voyeurs we're looking at. Yeah? In terms of the headlight of the Skidoo, just using that as my natural source, I have to bolster Kevin a little bit as he walks towards me with the light panel. That's all I'm doing. So you work within the confines. If that had been you with your ambulance, I could use the headlights on the scene of the accident behind, and out the front I could have another police car, a beacon flashing just on the person in the foreground. So I work with what I've got.